Hey everyone, Zoraz here from Not Casuals. Today I'm bringing you a guide on the Behemoth fight for the Thunder Rock, specifically the Elite Raid version of the Thunder Rock, which is a much harder fight with a lot less room for error, as the boss is going to be greatly buff, as well as having some mechanics that are quite complicated compared to the previous two bosses, in which if one of your teammates messes up, it could wipe the entire raid. So this fight is very similar from the Elite to the normal version. The Elite version just has a little bit more going on in terms of him shooting more lightning balls during phase 1. So phase 1 starts pretty straightforward. You make one group to the left, one group to the right, all ranged DPSs, and you only need one tank march to tank in the middle. Now, his first ability, which he will do throughout the fight constantly, is going to be this area of effect circle around him in which he explodes and does a lot of damage to anyone caught in it. It is very, very easy to avoid. You must just stay from a range distance when attacking him, and the tank can just back up. You have plenty of time to do so. Next, you will see he is going to turn around and shoot 2 electric balls towards one of the 4 regions around the map. Now, of course, these you must avoid. As you can see, your whole group must go away because once it hits the water, it will electrocute everyone standing in it constantly, as well as slow them down dramatically. And if you are in a bad position, the next thing he does after shooting these 2 balls is going to be knock back everybody into the water. So you can see that it is very easy to get stuck in that water and you can lose an entire raid instantly from not being in the right position. So it is very important that when you see him shoot these balls, instantly you move away towards the middle or towards a region that is safe. Now the next phase is going to be once he takes enough damage, he will go into the air and spawn 4 runes. He will then again shoot 2 of these balls in random locations. Once you know the locations, you divide your group in 2 and go to the other 2 locations that haven't been hit in order to click those runes. Now, there is one very specific thing here. You can see that some of the party members get targeted with some kind of white electricity. It takes about 5 to 10 seconds before it explodes. And if the party member who has it explodes in the middle of a water puddle with all the other teammates, you could literally kill the entire raid at once. So it is one of the most, if not the most important part of this fight, is to avoid being in anywhere close to your allies when you have that white debuff. When you do have it, your screen is going to glow red, so it will be very obvious, and you must go to the middle. You can see here all of the teammates who have the buff on them are going to the middle. They explode for minimal damage, which is perfectly fine, but if they explode where the water and the runes are, you will instantly wipe your raid. It is literally a make or break situation. If anybody messes up, the entire raid could die and you have to start all the way again. Now for this phase to complete, you just really have to click all the runes in order to deactivate them all, and then the boss will fall to the ground and be stunned. So it is very important that in the previous phase that everybody does click the rune properly, and that the people who have the white circle around them don't stay anywhere near the raid and go in the middle. And once you have that mastered, you have the entire fight mastered, because this is really all it is. Once he is on the ground, you just start again from the beginning. There is no new mechanic. It is going to be the same thing. So again, when there's a big red circle around him, you walk away. You make sure that your range stay from a distance to attack. And you simply just DPS without having to do anything else until you see those red balls coming, which is going to happen again. Now, it is always hard to predict where he's going to shoot them, but you can see his head face towards. Now you can see he's shooting it towards the left. Now it's quite obvious. I'm already moving out of there because I know that he is shooting there. And then his second ball is going to the top, which again was quite obvious, as you can see his head placement. So that means that the left group has to go to the bottom. Now you can see we get pushed back, but since we were most at the bottom, it is not affecting us too much. Now, of course, there's always a few people who have a harder time with this, with lag and different devices. So not everybody can perfectly avoid it, but the damage is really not that intense. It is just mostly that if you avoid most of it, you will be able to heal through the runes afterwards. So that is not too big of a deal. Now, of course, it's important for your tank to also keep the boss away from the parties in order to maximize DPS. So having the taunt item will definitely help. And you will simply want the rock to be tanked away from the 2 groups, especially when the lightning balls are coming down. Now again, we're going to the other phase, and you will see he goes up in the air and then shoots his ball. As soon as you know what direction the second ball goes, you go to the other two spots with your groups. Obviously, pre-assigning groups with markers is going to help you greatly here. Now, once you see those white little buffs around people, of course, these people need to get the hell out of your area as soon as possible. And you can see here, perfectly executed. No one took any damage but the people with the white buff around them, which makes this fight very easy if everybody does that. Once the first two runes are cleared, he will not shoot the balls in where the runes are left. So it is very easy to just simply know where the groups go, because he will never shoot the ball in the same place again. Now, once the last runes are clicked, obviously take the healing if you need it, but then just prepare for the next phase, in which he will go again on the ground, be stunned for 15-20 seconds, and then it's just free DPS. And it's literally just that simple. This is all the fight is about. Literally, do not stand in your group when you have the debuff explosion yellow white circle around you. It is literally the only thing you must know in this fight in order to win it. And avoid the big AoE around the boss. Make sure your tank is tanking him in a smart position so that the whole raid doesn't have to move every time he does a ball, for example. And then that's it. The fight is done and over. Everything else about this fight is a TBS check. He does have an enrage timer, but if you have not messed up any of the phase and lost too many players, most people will be able to beat it. Of course, you will need to have, as many of strong marches as you can. Marksmen are better on this boss fight than most other troops, because they are a better PvE damage units. As well as some things that I discovered is that peacekeeping talents do work against Behemoth. Peacekeeping artifacts do not, though, on the other hand. I'm going to make a whole video about that, because I've done a lot of testing and going to showcase why it's so good. But of course, try to bring heroes that perform better in an offensive capability for this fight. And there we have it, guys. We've completed the raid. It is obviously not as easy as it sounds, but it is really just about learning the mechanics. There is going to be a lot of this in this game. The Hydra and the Dragon especially have some much more complicated mechanics. So it is something that you have to familiarize yourself with. And you obviously want to have an idea of how to work as a team, be on voice chat, and so on. If you have any question about this fight, make sure to ask in the comment. As always, I'm happy to answer everybody's questions. And also look forward for other guides about all the elite raids in this game. I'm going to try to make a guide for every one of them whenever I can. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.